All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the magic that's happening inside your computer. We're going to explore the fundamental process, the actual heartbeat that powers every single thing your machine does.
I mean, really think about it for a second. You click your mouse, you type a sentence, you start a video, and literally billions of things happen almost instantly. It feels like magic, right? Well, it's not. It's actually an incredibly elegant, super high-speed dance of logic and electricity. So how on earth does it work?
To get our heads around this magic, we've got to start with the blueprint. Turns out, pretty much every device we use today, from the phone in your pocket to a massive supercomputer, is built on the exact same foundational design.
And the architect behind that blueprint was this guy, the absolutely brilliant mathematician John von Neumann. We're talking way back in the 1940s. He laid out a set of ideas that were so powerful, so forward-thinking, that they still define how computers work today.
And this is the core idea, the absolute heart of his design. See, before von Neumann, the instructions, the what-to-do list, were often stored somewhere totally separate, like on punch cards. His genius was to say, hey, why don't we put the instructions and the data they're going to work on in the same place, memory? That one simple idea changed everything.
So this whole architecture really stands on three simple pillars. First, as we said, the instructions and the data, they're all neighbors living together in one big memory pool. Second, every single spot in that memory has a unique address, kind of like a house number, so the processor can find exactly what it's looking for. And third, the default plan is to execute things sequentially, one after another in an orderly line.
Okay, so we've got the blueprint. Now let's meet the crew who actually gets the work done. We're zooming in from that big picture design to the specific hardware components that bring it all to life. At the highest level, you've got three main players. There's the CPU, the central processing unit, that's the brain of the operation. You've got main memory, which is its short-term workspace. And then you have the I/O module, which handles talking to the outside world. Your keyboard, your screen, all that stuff. And connecting them all is the system bus, which acts like the computer's central highway system.
Now let's zoom right into the brain itself, the CPU. Inside, we find the real workhorses, the arithmetic logic unit, or ALU. That's the calculator. It does all the math and logical comparisons. The control unit is the traffic cop, directing the flow of data everywhere. And then, there are the registers.
And you really need to get your head around these registers, because they are incredibly important. The absolute best way to think of them is as the CPU's own personal lightning-fast scratch pad. Anytime it needs to quickly jot down a number or an address for just a fraction of a second, it uses a register.
So why do they matter so much? Well, they sit at the very, very top of the memory food chain. That means they are ridiculously fast, way faster than main memory, but also much smaller. They're this critical, temporary workspace that holds vital info for the job at hand. For instance, a register called the program counter, or PC, always points to the next instruction, while another called the instruction register, or IR, holds the one the CPU is working on right now.
So we've got the blueprint and we've met the players. How do they actually do anything? It all comes down to a fundamental rhythm, a really simple two-step dance that repeats billions of times every single second.
And this is it. This is the rhythm of the processor. It's called the instruction cycle, or you'll often hear it called the fetch-execute cycle. The CPU fetches an instruction from memory, then it executes that instruction. That's it. It just loops over and over and over. Fetch, execute, fetch, execute. That is its entire job. Let's lock this in, because it's that simple. Step 1, the processor fetches, or grabs, the next instruction from its to-do list in memory. Step 2, it executes, or just does whatever that instruction commands. Add these two numbers, move this piece of data, whatever. Then, it immediately loops right back to step 1 for the next instruction in line. Now, this all sounds pretty neat and tidy, right? But there's a problem, a big one. This simple, one-at-a-time process, it's not actually very efficient. And in the world of computing, efficiency is everything. There is a constant, relentless need for more speed. So here's the issue. While the CPU is busy executing one instruction, the part of it that's supposed to fetch the next one is just sitting there, idle, twiddling its thumbs. And then when it's fetching the next instruction, the execution part is waiting. It's like a factory worker who builds one item, then has to personally walk it all the way down the line before they can even start on the next one. It's just a huge waste of time. So what's the fix? Well, engineers borrowed a truly brilliant idea from the world of manufacturing that completely changed the game for processor performance. They built an assembly line,
right inside the CPU. And this slide just shows the difference perfectly. The old way on the left, you had to finish an entire instruction, start to finish, before you could even think about the next one. But with the new way, which we call pipelining, it's totally different. The second the fetch unit passes off instruction 1 to get executed, it immediately starts fetching instruction 2. Now multiple parts of the processor are working at the exact same time.
In fact, we can break the process down even further than just 2 steps. A modern processor might have a multi-stage pipeline, an assembly line that looks something like this. There's a station for fetching the instruction, another for decoding what it means, stages for calculating and fetching the data it needs, a stage for the actual execution, and finally, one for writing the result back. Each stage is a specialized stop on the line. And this is where you really see the power of that assembly line. Just look at clock cycle 3. In that single instant, instruction 3 is being fetched, instruction 2 is being decoded, and instruction 1 is in the calculate operand stage. You've got 3 different instructions all being worked on at the same time, in different stages of completion. This is called temporal parallelism, and it is how modern CPUs get so much done so fast.
So what's the big payoff for all this fancy engineering? Well, it comes down to 2 massive wins. First, you get way better CPU utilization. No part of the processor is just sitting around waiting. The whole assembly line stays busy. And second, that directly leads to massively higher throughput. You're just finishing way more instructions in the same amount of time, which is what makes your computer feel so incredibly snappy.
So the next time you open an app or play a game, just remember what's really happening under the hood. It's not magic, it's a microscopic, invisible assembly line with billions of instructions flowing through it every single second. This tiny engine is what drives our entire digital world. It makes you wonder, what else is going on in there that we never even see?